neighbors, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor, and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now, you see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Okay, so full disclosure, this sermon is really more of a tribute than probably a spiritual message. And I actually wrote this about a week and a half ago as I was flying out to a conference in San Diego. And at the time, I thought it would be really appropriate with this being Father's Day. However, there's been some recent events that have certainly taken kind of the celebratory aspect out of this day for a lot of us. So, first of all, I'll apologize, as I really don't want to offend anybody with this message. That's certainly not my intent. I do recognize that we have two girls who have lost a father. And my prayer is that somehow they can be blessed in some way, much like I was. So as some of you know, I lost my father at a very young age. He was diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor when I was 4 years old. I later learned that he was only given 6 months to live at that point in time. However, he defied those odds, lived another 4 years. Considering this was the mid-1970s, that's pretty amazing. That being said, death of my father, I was an 8-year-old kid, now without a father. Research shows that active father figures play a major role in reducing behavioral and psychological problems in young adults. An increased amount of father-child involvement may help increase a child's social stability, educational achievement, and the potential to have a solid marriage as an adult. Their children may also be more curious about the world around them and develop greater problem-solving skills. Children who are raised with fathers perceive themselves to be more cognitively and physically competent than their peers without a father. Conversely, the withdrawal of a father's love seems to play a significant role in children's problems with personality and psychological adjustment, delinquency, and substance abuse. Now, obviously, as an 8-year-old, I didn't know the real importance of a father or a father figure. I honestly didn't even realize how much I needed a father until probably a few years ago. We all deal with death or tragedy in different ways. And I don't need to be a psychologist to know I probably didn't deal with the death of my father in the most healthy of ways. You see, I blocked it all out. And I mean all of it. I honestly can't recall one memory of my father. I have no recollection of playing catch, playing games, and teaching me how to ride a bike or other things. Nothing. I do have a few memories of family events related to his illness, but most of them are negative, such as being in a friend's house and my mom calling to ask if I could stay later because she had to call the ambulance. My father had to go back to the hospital. At times, I can remember doing homework in the hospital room while we were visiting my father. But you know what? I can't remember him lying in the hospital bed. That is all been subconsciously blocked out. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a great childhood. My mother, who's the strongest person I've ever met, never wavered in front of me or my older sister during my father's illness or death. She provided the strength, support, and love we both needed. However, there are just certain characteristics only a father can provide. Around the age of 11, my mother remarried. And with any step-parent, step-child, this relationship has to grow over time. It's obviously not as quick as a natural parent. But for me, this is where my childhood memories return. I can still remember the first time I called him Dad. My stepfather owned a boat, and the summer tradition was to go water skiing. It was a family outing, which included my mom, sister, and his two sons from his previous marriage. And I don't recall exactly what we were talking about, but I just decided this was the right time and called him Dad. I can still see the surprised look on his face, a look of complete happiness. As for both of us, the father-son relationship was officially born. And from here on out, I'll reference him as my dad, because to me, he's much more than a stepfather. He accepted my sister and I as one of his own children. All of us, including my two stepbrothers, were held to the same standards, provided with the same love and blessings. He taught me to hunt and fish, while I taught him to play golf. He still can't beat me in golf. He made the same sacrifices for me with Little League and other events, just as he did for his two older sons. Most importantly, he provided my sister and I with unconditional love and support only a dad can provide. He was disappointed in us with our mistakes, or I should say my mistakes. My sister never made any mistakes. And just as proud with our accomplishments as if we were his own biological children. Now, working in collegiate athletics, one of the great blessings are the relationships you build with so many different individuals. Most importantly, are with the student athletes, in which every year you have a new freshman class. Over the years, I've met quite a few student athletes who grew up without a father or a father figure. Unfortunately, this is not all that uncommon with a lot of football and basketball student athletes in some of my previous places of employment. And although the majority of these student athletes were really good people, there was something missing. They seem to be less mature, lack self-discipline and accountability, and tended to be more resistant towards authority as compared to their peers who came from nuclear families. As mentors, we knew they would need more nurturing with regards to fitting into the team environment, and definitely required stricter accountability. The majority of these individuals develop these necessary skills to be productive in society, but for the most part, their growth is much greater and took much longer than their peers who grew up with fathers. As a mature adult, I can now look back and realize how important and influential my dad has been to me. I've been blessed in a lot of different ways. I come from a Christian family who instilled in me the importance of faith in Jesus Christ. We didn't grow up wealthy, but fortunately, my parents were able to provide us children with enough financially to support us through college. Most importantly, they were always there for us emotionally in supporting our dreams, goals, and disappointments. Overall, I'm really thankful for the blessing God gave in providing me with two fathers. In a world where so many people, or so many children grow up without a father, why was I given the blessing of two? It's really a question I'll never be able to answer, nor do I really need to. I'm just thankful for my dad. More thankful than words will really be able to describe. So as we celebrate this Father's Day, remember God's blessing. Not only has God given men the incredible privilege of imitating him as Father, he has placed upon the shoulders of fathers an incredible responsibility. This poem titled Thank You, Dad, written so eloquently by this anonymous author, sums up my appreciation. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for the laughter, for the good times that we share. Thanks for always listening, for trying to be fair. Thank you for your comfort when things are going bad. Thank you for the shoulder to cry on when I'm sad. This poem's a reminder that all my life through, I'll be thanking heaven for a special dad like you. Amen.